Loughborough Campus Radio.
LCR. You're listening to LCR. LCR.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tea Time Talk. So, it is Saturday, the 3rd of February. It is another wet day, a bit rainy out there, so if you are going out, again, if you are going out, do bring an umbrella with you. So, welcome to Tea Time Talk. What we do on this show is that we spend, this is a sort of a talk show, where we spend the first half of the show talking about the news of the week, talking about what's happened in recent events, and then in the second half, we talk about more chill things that we enjoy, things that we've noticed in the week. So, before I introduce my co-hosts, just a disclaimer: anything that is said on this radio show is not representative of the university or the station. That is just us, four friends sitting down having a chat. So if anything controversial is said, does not reflect upon the university or LSU. This is just us having a conversation. With that said, if you want to get engaged with us, we have a Twitter wall, which you could use, Tea Time, which is TT Talk, if you want to engage in a conversation. We also have a YouTube page, Tea Time Talk, that you could listen to our previous content. So, let's get into it. So I want to introduce you first to Nezar.
Thank you for having me on again, Fritz.
Nezar is back again, but we have two new, one old and one new. So we'll start with the old. So we have Josh.
Hi, everyone.
If you don't know, Josh was back here, doing the show with me last year when we first started it up. So he's part of the season 1 boys.
Making a cameo comeback.
Yeah. And we have newcomer James.
Hello.
How you doing, James?
I'm not too bad, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
Yeah, hope that you'll have a spicy time.
The spicy kind of thing.
Yes. So, what we spend the first half doing is, again, talking about news of the week. Now, do any of you want to start out with any news stories, or should I go ahead with the first one that we've got here?
Let's briefly talk about how semester 2's rolling around.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that first. So, a summary of, we've approached the end of exam season by now.
Yeah.
People are enjoying themselves in whatever ways they do. But how have you found semester 1 then, and how are you looking forward to semester 2?
I'm enjoying semester 1 a lot more than I did last year.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's good.
I did a lot better in my work than I did last year, so hopefully semester 2's gonna be better. I'm gonna be working harder, I guess. Semester 2 came around sooner than I would have liked, but what can you do?
How about you, James?
Yeah, no. Semester 1 was going fine to me until it was Christmas, and then I realised, it's nearly over.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think it's just been going a little bit too quickly for my liking, but I guess sooner it's summer, sooner it will not be raining anymore. So.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good idea.
And Josh, who's on placement.
Yeah, and I have to say, semesters don't really apply anymore.
Semesters don't exist to me.
Yeah, it's weird having this, getting adjusted to professional life now, where you just, every week is a work week, and you got your set hours, and you don't get the super long academic holidays.
Working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Well, how long do you get off?
I get 150 hours for the whole year.
Okay.
So that's...
Wait, 150? That's like, what?
That's roughly 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
I get out of.
It's not bad.
It's
not too bad. But if you consider what we used to have with the academic year, we used to have like
a whole half the year.
2 weeks
That's
at
true, yeah.
Christmas,
a
3
month.
weeks at Easter, 10 weeks off the year.
Like 2 whole months off.
Yeah, 10 weeks in the summer. So.
Are you off in summer?
No, I'm working for a whole year, so I've gone from July to July, working down in Bristol. So yeah,
that's not too bad.
I'm gonna get a summer holiday this year though.
Okay,
that'd be nice.
What pal?
Although I have to say, although I do get reduced holiday, I don't have that much to do for the course-wise. I have a dissertation, but actually weekends and evenings are pretty chilled. I get to do what I like, so I get it back there, which is really nice.
All right. Shall we lead on to the first news story then?
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
The first news story might already be a bit controversial because what has happened is that there has been development of a new sort of system, a new sort of technology. It's called Deepfakes, and what this utilizes is system learning, and it's a rendering process where you can take the face of an individual and place it on another individual, and it can get shockingly accurate images. Now, of course, when this is left in the hands of the internet, we all know which direction this goes in.
South.
So
yeah.
there has been questionable content starring celebrities, the faces of celebrities have been plastered on questionable content on adult material.
It did start off well though, because I remember first seeing it was earlier on this week when the film trailers starring Nicolas Cage appeared.
Exactly.
And they were very good, very well done, and they were quite funny. And then as the week got on, it got progressively darker and darker.
Exactly.
I think Emma Watson was involved at one point.
Emma Watson, there's YouTube celebrities as well being used in this questionable content. But of course, it started out wonderfully fine, Nicolas Cage in everything. Who wouldn't want Nicolas Cage in everything? Imagine Nicolas Cage as Iron Man. And it's brilliant, isn't it?
Wow.
I would watch that.
If it had the voice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch it.
Exactly. But it's gotten to a point where it's questionable, and we don't know what the legality is around it. So it's worrying, because you could claim in cases where these videos are being used, you could claim defamation because it's going against the character, but then there's a whole long legal battle because these videos aren't the person themselves. This is someone else's person, but your face is transposed on them. So the question I wanted to ask you guys is, what do you think about this whole issue? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to have to be legislation to address this, or do you think that potentially that that there's nothing we can do about this because of the fact that it isn't the actual person, it's a video, someone else is completely video, someone else doing the acting, but it's just your face transposed on it? Of course, this is uncomfortable because it's weird.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of research into this, but it turns out that you need at least 100 individual photographs of the person's face to get this to work. So if you're worried about someone maybe doing it to you, just maybe be careful what you post on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they will be able to do it from there.
Fair enough.
But just an average person on the street, you probably would be safe from it. But I mean, it obviously isn't particularly good, but it's not. It's just a natural extension of people using Photoshop to make these images as well, except they can just be done with moving images too.
And it's scary how realistic it can get. Because when someone like, people now have to go out and claim that this isn't me, this specifically isn't me in this film, and people could use this against friends or against people that they see as enemies. It could be like revenge utilized, and it could, in cases of court, this could lead to increasing like ambiguity in regards to is this real evidence? Is this genuine proof? Or has this been transposed onto someone else's body or someone else's face?
That's true. Yeah.
How do we know what's real and what's fake now when it comes to these things? You're right there, Nezar?
I was just thinking about it, that's all. It's a scary situation, isn't it? If it gets to a point where it's like... I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to take it down altogether or what. It seems, if it gets to that degree that Fritz is talking about, that's really scary, isn't it? To think that somebody could just, like, basically frame other people. Again, as you said, if you're a random person on the street, it's probably not a big issue.
No, yeah.
If you post a lot on Facebook, probably is where it starts to get, especially if someone has it out for you, kind of thing.
And if you're trying to be an up-and-coming star, if you're trying to get yourself known in an acting role or a person of interest role, a public figure, you've got a lot of potential for people to target you in a negative way.
Yeah, if you're a socialite, if you're a social influencer, who's then there's a lot of... Of course, because you post a lot of pictures of yourself online. You post a lot of content of yourself online, selfies, be it videos, be it whatever you do. And when these snapshots are taken, they are edited into this video. So again, what we'd probably say is just be very careful with what you upload to social media networks if you want to protect yourself against this.
Yeah, but on a slightly more positive note, I guess you could use this. This could be used maybe those things they used to do where you take a picture of your face and then it's put on top of someone's head and it kind of, the mouth opens and closes and it looks really silly, and you send them as like Christmas cards. Those could be used to say, hey, here was me, I was in Iron Man, and then there's you as Robert, replacing Robert Downey Jr. in his face.
For comedy, it'd work, I think, perfectly. Yeah. I think it should be used for... I think that's what it's made for.
Yeah, it's just a shame that we've already skipped past this is how it could be good and gone straight to the...
Follow the standard conventions of the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea is made for that comedic content, but what can you do? People just...
But we've shown that, I mean, as proof of concept, it works very well. I mean, this could be used to apply in other things. I think Justice League could have done with this, when they CGI'd out the guy's moustache, it looked terrible.
That is true. It's probably better technology than that. That's weird. That's weird that that's the way it works, but what can you do?
That is the problem with any new technology, though. People always come up with a way to turn it into a bad thing.
Yeah.
And you got the internet, the classic internet, takes everything and makes it worse.
Do you think
I'm a little bit more. Sorry, I'm just for a little bit. I was a bit more concerned with the fact that there's apparently a free program which you can download, which allows you to. It automates the whole process. So you give it the images, and it does it all for you. At the click of one button, so you don't even have to be technically literate or very tech savvy to be able to do all this kind of stuff. And so you could get the situation where, say, your ex could gather material of you and do this to you, which would be really scary. But as you pointed out, James, they need a lot of stock material.
Yeah.
So,
but we have the problem there is that we have that stock material. We have so much of it nowadays.
Yeah.
If you're really out there, if you're someone who does post a lot, if you change your profile picture every 3 months or something, there's a lot of content there.
I do go back and delete posts. I think that's a good thing to do. If you keep delete posts from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to really visit them again.
Privatize your content and what you upload to people for people to see.
Okay, yeah, it's because the only people that can see my Facebook, for example, are friends.
But
but
then again, you see, it brings in the whole thing. If you've got a really really angry ex, say, they'd have a lot of personal content about you.
Well, what do you think the future of this is going to be? Do you think they're going to take it down?
I don't think they could do much about it, if I'm honest.
I think there's two ways that this could either continue, and we'll just get over it at some point. Like, it just becomes another thing. It's just another thing that's in the corner of that industry. Or legislation is not legislation, but court orders are taken against the people who are creating this content are sued by the people who are put in this for defamation or for other reasons, or maybe a new law regarding how we're utilizing people's images online would have to be drafted or created in order to address this. So it could go both ways, is what I see it as.
Well, I know that when you look at images to tell if they're photoshopped, you can see that although it doesn't matter how well it's done, both images sort of retain a digital signature of the two, so there might be a way of being able to distinguish what is and what isn't from the original source. Yeah,
because these aren't 100% accurate, by the way. Like, you can still see like facial features that don't match, foreheads that are way too big, or eyes that dot all over the place.
Yeah, and like blurring around the edges.
Exactly. So there are some ways of finding and disproving that these are fake, of proving that these are fake 100%. But even the people behind the apps now are trying to say, oh well, we need to like put in a watermark to say this is fake, this is not real. So if you do create content using that is obvious that it is fake content. So to avoid that shenanigans, because again, what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Technology's amazing.
Technology's amazing. We could use it to connect with people all around the world, or we could use it to put celebrities on very questionable things.
Yeah.
I mean, when you put it like that, I mean,
I mean, it was only a few weeks ago we were talking about the VR chat, and how we've managed to put people together and communicate with each other across the world, and yet the first thing they do is like go on a tribal spree wearing a character from Sonic the Hedgehog. So again, technology is amazing, but it's also terrifying.
I mean, that might just be like the way of human nature, is just to push things to limits initially to see what it can do, and then get bored with it 5 minutes later and go do something else.
Yeah, that's fair.
It generally tends to go south and keep going south, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Anyway,
shall we move on?
Who wants to start us off on that?
Does anyone have any the next thing that I want to bring up, or Nezar, you got anything?
No.
Straight up.
Nezar's just not enjoying. Like, no, you're not having fun today.
I'm just checking my Facebook.
Oh, are you deleting images of your Facebook in case?
Yeah.
He's just going through his profile just to make sure there's no pictures.
We know it comes up every day saying, these are your memories from so many years ago. And it's like, did I really post that? Well, get rid of that.
Shut up, Facebook.
Yeah. I need to know how cringy it was.
Facebook in itself just...
Anyway, I got one.
Yeah.
So at the moment we are facing quite an interesting. Well, unfortunately, it's not interesting for the people who are there, but we're facing Day Zero in Cape Town, which sounds really serious. It sounds like a movie title. But
Day Zero in Cape Town, starring
in what town?
Cape Town.
Cape Town.
Okay.
Do you know where that is?
No.
Oh.
South Africa.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's the second biggest city in South Africa, and basically, South Africa's got a big problem. It has a historic problem with droughts, the obviously it's a hot country. It doesn't get as much rainfall as say the UK. I mean, nowhere has as much rainfall.
If you want some of our rainfall, take it, please. We'll give it to you freely.
Yeah, no place has got as much rainfall as the UK, apparently. But the case is that Cape Town is reaching a point where there literally is no water, and that is the first major city in the entire world to face that situation. And it's actually going to be quite serious, because the reservoirs, they're going to at the point where the reservoirs reach about 13% capacity, they're going to shut off public use water, literally just turn off the tap, and then they're going to reserve the rest of the water for hospitals and essential services such as sewage, such as I mentioned medical services, and then of course you've got power plants that need water for cooling, etc. So, however, for the public, this is really bad news, and the cutoff date is somewhere in June, I believe.
No, I think it's currently April 16th.
Oh wow, okay, even sooner. So people are starting to panic. Emergency response officials in the city are getting increasingly worried about the situation, because they have a lot of residents in the city. As I mentioned, it's the second biggest in South Africa, and they're facing a potential anarchy situation where they completely lose control as the Trouts fight for control over the resources. They've urged residents to continue saving water as much as they can. However, apparently, they still continue to use a lot more water than they should. And this is accelerating the rate at which the water level is going to, reach the day zero number, as they say. And currently the military's standing by to step in if things go wrong. And it's going to be an interesting case to watch. Not from a... It's not interesting, but it's not a good situation. But it just, as the first time this has happened to a major city, it'll be interesting to see how we can deal with it, and how even today, with all our technology, as you mentioned, and we should be able to deal with these things. But when essential resources become completely just non-existent, you lose control, and technology can't even help you then, unfortunately. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they're going to deal with it.
So the worry here is that people are going to run out of water in Cape Town, and this government currently doesn't have a system capable of providing for the citizens once they do hit that day. So we don't know what's going to happen. The military is going to be there to I don't know what's going to happen. There might be cases of murders or incidents or killings, but it's like the plot for a dystopian film.
Yeah.
And so what we would like to ask is, what do you think is going to happen? Like what would you do? What would you, if you were in Cape Town right now? First of all, what would you do, and what do you think is going to happen?
Would the first logical thing not be to try and outsource to? Well, we'll try to get water from surrounding nations, yeah,
surrounding countries. See, that's the thing. You could do that.
You'd have to pay for it, but
unfortunately,
what choice do you really have at that point?
Unfortunately, in Southern Africa, they tend to all follow the same weather pattern. So we've got Zambia, you've got Mozambique, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is in a really bad shape. You're not going to get much help from them, unfortunately. They need
so basically, everywhere in South Africa is not going to help you because they're suffering. They've got their own things.
They could probably
import water from the west.
Yeah, they're going to have to start doing that.
They can take it from the northern Cape area, I believe. I'm sure there's there'll be at least not as severe drought up there, so I'm sure they're investigating ways of taking, maybe even trucking water supplies across land to reach Cape Town. So there will be plans like that, except that kind of utility function will just become swamped, I'm pretty sure.
This could also, of course, sort of rein in the huge advances in water purification, because we have lots of sea, but a lot of it's undrinkable water.
Yes. We unfortunately, South Africa is a bit of unfortunately a bit of a mess at the moment. So they don't have the money to invest in desalination plants, which would have they were trying to, and they still are. However, it's again. What do you try fix first?
Yeah,
basically.
But maybe an independent party could come out, or business could say, well, there could be something for us to do here. Come out, start.
That'd be lovely. That'd be really.
How much
good.
you want to bet until Elon Musk's put his hands in here? I'm pretty sure he will do something at some point. Elon
Come on,
Musk.
he's South African. He's got to do something.
I mean, at this point, the government doesn't really have any other choice but to start purchasing from other locations, I'd say. Otherwise, unless they want to deal with their own people and kind of
Unfortunately, the government of South Africa has a long tradition of ineptitude. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm not holding my breath, but I hope that a solution is found before Day Zero is reached, because it's not good for the residents of Cape Town.
I don't think that. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, I don't think there's going to be a solution before Day Zero. I think what's going to happen is after Day Zero, we're going to realize that there is a crisis. That's when everyone sets in.
It'll definitely hit. I think it'll hit.
It'll set in
before
for everyone.
People start
I think there might be a run on hospitals and a run on medical centers to get water supplies. But I think that at some point, either the UN or the EU is going to start sending water over there. It's going to start shipping bottles to South Africa to help with that. Now the question is, what will happen politically after that? Like, will the EU or the UN hold this? Because, of course, I'm very skeptical about anything the UN does. That's just my personal opinion. I'm very skeptical about anything the World Bank, or the International Monetary Fund has to do. Like, if they send money or if they send anything, their tariffs are very out there. But I'm just thinking of what's going to happen politically and community-wise after this.
I mean, it also depends how much big media coverage you'll get.
Oh, it should be. Yeah.
Because if it gets big over here to the point where everyone's hearing about it, I think that's when it'll start to be an issue where the government will be, we should probably deal with this kind of thing. Otherwise, if it's kind of swept under the rug kind of thing, I could see nobody doing anything about it and then it sort out itself.
Could be that bad.
The thing is, I've heard in South Africa that the dams are not actually the problem. They have big enough dams. They have, of course, experienced quite severe weather, so quite severe droughts in recent years, which has led to this. But one of the main problems is the pipes, the transfer pipes, they haven't been maintained in years, and we can have, I believe I heard a figure, in recent years we have up to 40% water loss in the transfer pipes. So you're losing all this water in the ground, which obviously is not helping because it just decreases the pressure, decreases the amount that gets through to the city. And it's because there is no maintenance budget and resources and skilled technicians available to deal with it, that it's got to such a problem.
We need to send British engineers to South Africa to fix this crisis.
They were replacing a gas main outside my house a few years ago, and it took them a month to do something that should have taken a week. So.
Oh dear. Okay, maybe not then. German engineers. Except then we get Volkswagen, and that's a whole different issue of its own. So we just need some engineers.
Engineers.
We need someone who knows what they're doing to potentially assist in helping South Africa gain water. But again, it depends on who cares. Does anyone care? Because again, I'm going to say this out flat, probably it's going to be controversial, but how much do people actually care about something that isn't happening to them?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fair point.
How much does someone in the UK care about what's happening in South Africa if they don't have relatives in the South Africa?
Let me put it to you like this. It takes a long time for a lot of us to interfere when there's something like a bad dictator leader there, let alone if there's a water crisis. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think it's got. I just don't think people are gonna. If it's not worldwide news stuff, sweep under the rug, act like
thankfully it is getting to worldwide news now.
The dictator crisis thing is because we're still suffering from we're still worried about the repercussions from invading Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We don't want to commit the same mistake again of invading a country without a reason to invade the country, or making a fake reason to invade a country.
Yeah.
So we always have to be wary about how we proceed. But a water crisis, there isn't a dictator here. It's just there's an international incident and it needs to be addressed. But if people aren't bothered enough to say anything about it, then of course no one will do anything. You're not going to spend money on sending water to Africa if no one tells you need to do this.
We're also just talking about one city in a country, though.
Yeah.
We're not talking. That's not like a countrywide.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be droughts in other places. However, as I mentioned, for instance, Northern Cape will probably have and Central Africa as well.
Yeah.
And especially along the garden route, as they call it. I'm sure that there will be a high amount of water there, so they're probably doing contingency plans like trucking in water from those areas.
Yeah.
It's sad,
Very sad, unfortunately.
but we'll just have to see how things go from there on out.
Definitely.
Right, James, did you have something you wanted to bring
Yeah,
up?
I did. I mean, going back to the whole dictator thing. Now, every year, the North Koreans, normally around April, celebrate the founding of their military, investments. And
That's the one way of saying it.
yeah, well, no, this year would have marked the 40th anniversary of this, and they've decided to move it a little bit earlier this year. They're going to have it on the 8th of February.
Okay.
Which is a day before the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympic Games in South Korea.
Okay.
So, and basically they've said, we're going to do it, and there's nothing you can do to stop us.
Oh,
I
wow.
think that's not the direct quote, but it was something along that lines. It was basically,
wow.
no one has the right to tell us not to do this, which I think is quite an interesting move. I'm not sure exactly what this is trying to show. Like, you can organise events a little bit earlier, but I mean, if you're going to do it at all, nice, good for you.
It's just a statement, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a massive political statement. It's
Oh yeah.
it's to show that, South Korea, you've got the Winter Olympics, but look what we've got.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Winter Olympics is impressive, but tank's a little bit more impressive.
It's again North Korea flexing their nuclear muscles or the weaponry muscles to try and show that we are a potential threat to the world's peace. It's them flexing on America again, trying to show that we have this military strength and we're willing to showcase it. Well, that's the way I see it.
Well, I guess, yeah, a lot of representatives from all over the world being in one place, and then North Korea goes, well, we've also got all of this,
Yeah.
and then something to be wary of. Do people really want to send their athletes there, or will the athletes feel comfortable being there?
It's just again, it's North Korea. What can people do with North Korea? It's its own nation. It's its own thing. So
It's just the brainchild of one rather extreme dictator.
again, it's just I don't know what to say about it. Honestly, it's a lot like Trump. Like we get news stories from it, but we don't know what to say about it because we know that they're gonna do this. We know that they're always gonna walk up and flex and say, hey, I got a big red button. But then America's gonna be like, I got a bigger red button. So, well, I got a big red button.
Yeah,
then.
this is going to go back and forth for a while.
It's going to be shots fired at each other until eventually shots are fired against each other.
Yeah.
So the only thing we can do is sit back, relax, and
Enjoy the movie.
enjoy the yeah, exactly. Enjoy the movie. Just sit down with a bowl of potato salad or something. I don't know.
I mean, at least it's happening over there and not kind of where we are. So I mean, I feel bad, but
classic thing. We were just saying. How much does it take for someone to care about what happens on the other side
it's
of the
not
world?
happening to us. So whatever. I mean, that's how it all went.
It's not us that's going to get blown into pieces yet. But
Put the asterisk on there.
Yeah, because once something does. Okay, I really hope nothing happens. The perfect scenario would be America chills out, North Korea chills out. We just leave each other mutually exclusive. No one has to deal with each other. North Korea, you do your own thing. America, you do your thing, and just let the world go on. Of course, that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be complete and utter proving each other to itself.
Well, I think it's more just words, actually. If I'm honest, the repercussions are too big for any action.
After this whole North Korea situation, do you expect Trump to be elected on again?
What, me personally?
All of you.
I don't know, because if he runs again, there is a chance he might win.
Yeah, I think he will.
There's a chance he might win again.
I think he will.
Because
I think he will as well.
He does possess a form of voice for the disenfranchised.
I think America genuinely see him as a lot of America see him as a really strong leader. I think that's been lacking in the past.
It has been lacking in the past, if I'm honest. He's a shake-up. He's not really what they like, but they want him as a shake-up of the current situation.
Well, it depends. Who does he run against? Because if he runs against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it becomes a popularity contest.
Yeah.
It becomes a who's the more popular one. Who can we make the most memes out of? The Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, big bulky guy, now the Prime President of the United States, or is it Donald Trump again? Again making.
Is Dwayne? I knew he was kind of saying
he's
teasing.
serious about running.
Is he?
He's serious about running.
All right.
And if he goes up against Trump, I guarantee you he'll win.
Oh, okay.
Well, what could be an interesting move on his part is if he runs for the same party, because that way he can oust him before he even gets into the presidential voting.
That's true.
Oh,
Out of curiosity, who the WWE back? Because they're mates with Trump.
Oh yeah, that's
well,
true.
they're also
Oh,
mates with The Rock. So
Oh, that could be interesting.
that'd be really interesting
I
to
could see them being very quiet on that issue, to be fair.
I could see. Well, I mean, Vince McMahon is clearly like right wing, isn't he?
Mm.
So if The Rock isn't, then he'd probably.
I don't think The Rock is right. Rock is. I mean, YouTube pushes The Rock like there's no tomorrow, so he's clearly liberal.
Well, then in that case, the WWE will still probably support.
He'll probably run for
Trump.
Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be really interesting to see how that's going to have an effect on that.
But if Trump is running against a legitimate Democratic candidate again in future, well, again, again, it's just running against Hillary Clinton, and I wouldn't blame Trump for winning. To be honest, running against like the devil's advocate over there, it's just
Everyone was like, everyone's hope was Bernie Sanders, but he dropped out really early.
Well,
so.
yeah.
I don't think there has ever been a presidential election with a dissatisfaction rate so low on both sides.
Yeah.
do you mean dissatisfaction rate so high?
So high, sorry, satisfaction rate
Yes,
so low.
yeah,
Dissatisfaction rate so high. Yeah.
No one wanted either of them.
No. So choose the least worst, please.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with that, but I think now that he's on, a lot of people have started to see a lot of positive in our boy Donald Trump.
Positives? I mean, he keeps spewing out controversial stuff.
Yeah,
every
no,
week.
but a lot of the people in the US like that.
Yeah, because at least he's not afraid to say what's on his mind. Like, although you could say, well, you probably shouldn't have said that. It's nice that he will sort of say, oh, you're an absolute, whatever, and every other politician will go, well, I don't really agree with what they're saying. They'll dance around the issue, whereas Trump is just straight on there, like, I don't like you.
It's why
it's complete.
It's why a lot of people in the UK will defend Thatcher, because she's arguably the strongest leader, the prime minister we've ever had, and she was again another leader that's not afraid to speak their mind, and in a way that's something to be admired. But at the same time, if you're making bad decisions, you're making bad decisions.
Yeah, there's a time and place.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, it's weird. Like there's stuff I do admire about that kind of leadership, but then you're realizing that he's really extreme, so it's kind of like two sides of the same coin.
I think we're very unfortunate in that it had to be this time and place where we had this one strong leader versus another one that wants to prove their muscle. Because of course we have the soft power policies of Obama, who didn't want to really engage much in stuff like that. He wanted more to sort of do it diplomatically, talk it through. Yeah. He didn't want to engage in. He didn't want to tweet at you and say, call you fat or call you chubby or something.
To be honest, that's quite very childish. It's just not what he should be doing as president, if I'm honest.
I like that it's on Twitter as well. Yeah, that's my favourite part.
If there's anything that has resuscitated Twitter, it's Donald Trump.
It's Donald Trump, yeah.
Because Twitter was already on the way out for being.
He doesn't go out and like make a speech about it. He's just like, nah.
No,
screw
just
you.
Tweet. Hey, everybody, budget is increased. More military spending on nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag deal with it.
Hashtag 2018 North Korea.
Wow.
That's just how he does things in his end of the world.
Well, yeah, because before Donald Trump made it into the White House, I'm not saying these two events are related, but Twitter was looking to be sold, and I haven't heard anything since then about them. Yeah. So maybe, this guy's lighting stuff up on Twitter. Maybe we should all get on board and see what he's saying.
To be fair, that's a very good point. Very good point.
I mean, I would argue that there is some inclusive. There's a connection there.
Yeah,
because it is a thing. It is a thing. What are you? You right there? Josh is having a bit of a moment.
I just saw your music choice. That's a good one.
I get to pick the music.
Third one.
No one gets to know except for him because he's sitting right next to me.
If it's a song I've heard that you've played on the show before, I'm going to be sad.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Ooh.
You're going to be in for a mighty surprise. So, is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Right. One more story before we go into the break.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency.
Oh yes.
Crashing.
Cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
And other cryptocurrencies are available.
Dogecoins and BitConnect. That's a
Kodak are starting their own one as well.
Yeah, they are.
Photographers, yeah.
Okay,
Really?
so what about Bitcoin?
It's crashing. It's
no.
lowest point since November.
Okay.
So
what's it at now?
It's falling below the $8,000 mark. So it's fallen down below the £5,700 mark.
Okay.
So it is the worst it has ever been. If you invested $1,000 into BitConnect, or not that's a scam. That's a scam. Do not know. Okay, it's because I've been watching the meme videos around it. If you invested $1,000 into Bitcoin, you would have lost 250 by now.
Oh wow.
So there's
When was it at a point where you could actually make a profit off it?
probably around end of December, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was up
Yeah.
20,000 for one day.
So what would the exchange rates be then?
A lot of money.
Really?
A lot of moolah. If you bought, what was his name? Is it not? It's not 50 Cent, is it? What rapper is it that he got paid in bitcoins early on in his career? He forgot about them, and now that he remembers he has them again, he's suddenly become a millionaire again. I think it's 50 Cent.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah. So 50 Cent, well, when he released one of his albums, like earlier on in the 2000s, I think, or 2010s, he also accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment.
So now he's 50 billion cent.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But
now,
worth it though.
now he completely forgot that he had those bitcoins and he found it out now. So now he's rich again.
Yay.
He has money again. It's not 50 Cent no longer but reality.
Yeah.
He actually has currency to spend, but he has to cash in on those bitcoins quick because the market is crashing.
Mm.
So I just wanted to ask you guys: is the Bitcoin bubble over?
Well, I mean, being a lot of places who did accept Bitcoin are suddenly saying, oh, well, maybe we're going to reevaluate what we do in the future. I remember Steam, which is quite a big online game distribution service.
Well, they were going to take Bitcoin.
They were planning to.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then at the last minute, they kind of bailed out once it started to crash. I think I think Amazon as well were looking into it, or at least had some infrastructure there, and they again have bailed out on it.
Wow.
Look, you never know with economy, do you?
No.
It's really unpredictable. It could bounce back from this.
It could do, but the question is when. If it does bounce back from it, like, should we invest in Bitcoin now? I'd arguably say don't invest in Bitcoin now.
Keep some on you just in
Yeah.
Well, on
Keep
the other
some
hand, you
just
say
in
don't
case.
invest, but if everyone's panicking and getting rid of all their Bitcoin, then suddenly
Then-
no one's got Bitcoin, and now it's worth something again. So it's kind of
One has to be tactical about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One has to-
keep some around just in case.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh. well.
If one that does invest in any cryptocurrency, it's important to remember that only invest how much the amount you're willing to lose. Don't go above or beyond investing. Don't invest your entire life savings like some people have. Some people have remortgaged their house and then
no.
reinvested all that money
goodness.
in Bitcoin.
Oh no.
It was ridiculous. I hope they cashed out before the crash because that must be damaging to lose all of that money in such a quick time. But again, if you're investing in cryptocurrency, just please make sure that you're using a source of what's it called? I've lost the word. English is not my first. Not justifiable, but like a source, a known source.
Respectable.
A respectable outlet. That's a good thing.
Okay.
A respectable source or a respectable outlet that knows what it's doing, that will keep your money safe, and that you're only investing as much as you're willing to lose. Don't go around spending £1,000 just because for the bands in it.
Yeah.
Like you went on a night out, came back. You know what? I think Bitcoin's look mighty fine right now.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's my first concern when I come home drunk is I wonder what Bitcoin's doing right now. My friend bought a £10 worth of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and he said it's just something to have. And so I'll maybe just dabble a little bit in it, spend £10, and then if like in a year's time you've got more than you started with, then
Just
take
start
a
them.
little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
a good
Even
idea.
something as small as like getting 80 quid back.
Yeah.
You'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
80 quid.
Yeah, if I
last
put a
your
tenner
week.
in and I got
Yeah.
£80 back, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you put £10 in when it started out, you probably get 100,000 back by now,
Oh my
or
god,
at least 20,000 probably back by now.
that's really depressing.
Nezar just reevaluating himself. I
Yeah.
should have spent money on bitcoins.
Well, nobody told me it was profitable.
Well, nobody knew it was profitable.
That's the point. That's why it caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah.
And it turned into a bubble. That's why.
And
it
then
turned
like
into
you
a bubble.
start to get in on it is when it goes down.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because everyone's jumping on board the hype train, you know?
Mhm.
Hype, hype, hype.
exactly.
Yeah, the heavier the train, the slower it goes.
Yeah, that is true. Good point.
It's like the housing market.
Well, we'll just keep some. we'll invest in it anyway, and then it'll go back up again. And then
Yeah.
we'll
What if
be-
you personally, Nazar's investing in it? Oh my goodness,
There we
it's
go.
worth more.
Yeah.
Declaration of declaration of investment right here.
The markets are going to respond.
Nezar will single-handedly bring the currency
Yeah.
of cryptocurrency back straight up into
Are you
the.
saying buy?
What is your economical understanding here, like or analysis of cryptocurrency right now?
You know what? I think that it's on the rebound. It's coming back up, boys.
Yeah,
That's
boy.
my economic analysis.
Spicy.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful, right there.
should we
Invest.
drop a pound?
Definitely not.
drop the pound, accept a bit.
I don't know a lot
Right,
about. I don't know a lot about economy, but I know enough not to drop the pound. We're not going euros, damn it! Get out of here.
Oh my gosh. Shade thrown at the euro there.
That's not even shade. That's fact, mate.
Yeah.
Look at how that's affected every country that's gone euro. Not positively.
No.
Greece, yeah.
Yeah. And can you use euro as a straw? You've ever rolled up a £5 note, you can use it with straws.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but you can do that with the new £5 notes.
Yeah,
as well.
you can, and the £10 notes
£10
too.
notes.
They're
Yeah,
better
but they're
'cause
actually
longer.
worth something.
Are you guys just giving tips to cocaine addicts on how to snort cocaine now?
No.
Like, use a straw to use the £5 note to sniff up cocaine now.
You don't need straw to sniff cocaine, do you?
This sounds like
That sounds like you're talking from
yeah.
experience.
It was until he said, "Do you?" I was like, "Well,
I'll tell how much white powder have you snorted, Nezar?
Well, to be fair, I'm the most controversial member on Tea Time Talk.
You won't ever get over that, will you?
I'm angry.
Why are you angry?
Because I'm not the most controversial member.
Who
on
is then?
this. Either you or Matt.
Why?
whoa."
Because
that's
you say
controversial.
more like political stuff that's like leaning more towards what you believe in.
Do I?
I mean, like, you've ranted on the show about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I tend to stay more neutral on that kind of thing, and I was voted most controversial member.
Maybe you're just a controversial guy.
Maybe I am.
I mean, maybe it's because of your food choices.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
That's
the man does. Wait, is it you're the one who doesn't like Jaffa cakes, right?
Yeah.
You don't like Jaffa cakes.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
told me about this earlier in the week.
Why is everyone so sad about it?
Priorities, guys. Priorities.
Yes, back on topic.
We're
So-
not in the chill section yet.
Not yet. We still have
We'll
another.
get you then.
Oh, wow.
The first thing of the chill
burn.
section: how to roast Nezar when it comes to
Oh.
Jaffa cakes.
I'm gonna get beaten up off screen.
No, we won't do that. We do not advocate domestic
Off mic.
abuse or any form of violence, for that matter. But back on topic. So the bubble of crypto cash. Yes.
Are
Yeah,
we still on this topic?
I mean, we could expand it further.
Well, one thing if you talk about cryptocurrencies, another thing you need to talk about is mining.
Yeah.
The currencies themselves.
Because relating to that, people who want to build PCs,
Yeah.
like people who want to build their own PC builds,
Yeah.
because of cryptocurrency, mining, the whole thing is pushed the price of like GPU processors sky high.
What's the correlation?
Because you need a processor in order to be able to mine.
You need a very powerful processor in order
Yeah.
to mine, because you need to perform calculations. That's
Okay.
the way you mine. It's not really a proper mining. It's just your
Oh
machine
look!
has
I'm
to
just
perform.
slamming a pickaxe into my
This
computer
is not
because I'm mining
Minecraft.
cryptocurrency.
This is not
So that's what I
Minecraft.
thought you were talking about.
So these tech destructions channels probably have done a video about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought you were talking about.
You want to mine cryptocurrency? Smash your computer with a pickaxe.
I can see that being a how to basic title of a video.
That's the new Tide Pod
Throws an
video.
egg on it.
The new Tide Pod right there,
Oh,
smashing
no.
computer builds with like a pickaxe.
Yeah, but people were going into computer stores in America and ordering like 20. I think the GTX 1070 or 1060 was one of the most popular ones because it's price to performance. So people were buying like 20, 30 of these cards,
Whoa.
plugging them all in, and it took them, even with that amount of cards, it took them over a month before they even made their money back.
No way.
And a lot of people were like, oh, well, it must be fairly easy to do, but you're dropping a good, let's say at least $10,000+ just to build these things that may or may not make an investment back, especially if the market's dropping at the moment.
Yeah.
But a lot of people haven't got that memo. There was a post on, I know it's on Reddit, and it was like, this is Monday morning, this is Friday afternoon, and like the entire shop was just empty.
No way.
So
Crazy.
But it's mining, if you're thinking about mining, you don't just plug in an old laptop and set it going, because it will use more electricity than it will ever make back in its lifetime.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, it's not easy to do these, and especially now that it's harder to actually make a profit on Bitcoin than it ever was before, because these calculations are getting increasingly more and more complex.
Wow.
Damn.
And there's the whole bubble. So it has wider effects for a wide variety of things,
Yeah.
not just the PC build and just people in general.
Also, I'm trying to put people off because I need to buy a new graphics card, and I've been waiting since like last year.
Oh, right.
You're in the unfortunate position
Yeah.
in that because of Bitcoin, you can't purchase a graphics.
video games.
You can't play video games. Although what they've done in America now is they've asked stores to specifically only sell graphics cards to gamers. But I don't know how you're going to enforce that. Is the person that's going to walk into the shop
exactly.
and
Like, yo,
well,
I'm a
they're going to
gamer.
quiz you there. And
I'm
there.
a video gamer. Okay.
Who do
tell
you
me.
main on Overwatch?
Who's
Name
your,
me.
Who's your jungle?
Name me 3 visual novels. What? What's a visual novel?
See, that's the trick question. You say heavy from TF2, and that's how you get it. They're like,
Oh,
"Oh, we
okay.
know you're really into gaming. You know, casual."
Yeah.
Who's your jungler on Dota?
Don't.
Oh, you must be a lol.
Who's
You
your
must
name?
No,
smite
he's
player.
not. He's a smite.
Spite.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't even get involved in that controversy. Oh my
As
god.
long as it's not LOL, I'm happy.
I think
that's
you've just
fair
angered a
enough.
lot of people there.
That's fair enough.
I'm just gonna stay
I'm
out of
with
this.
you on that one.
I'm not involved in this conversation anymore. Hey. Yeah. So we'll probably start. We have about a minute left though, so we could roll out a minute before we go into break. So does anyone mention anything before we go on over to the break?
30 seconds.
Nezar, what do you want to say about the
30
world?
second countdown.
About the
Like
what,
our channel on YouTube, subscribe,
beautiful.
like us on Facebook. This is all accurate too, because we have all this.
We do have that.
So could
Okay.
you please?
Okay, I'll just
Do you mind?
I'll just regurgitate the previous information. We do have a YouTube channel called Tea Time Talk. If you're interested, you could subscribe to that, where we upload our podcasts. We also have a Facebook page, again, Tea Time Talk Radio. You could find us on there and like the page, and we'll post when we put our videos up. Or you could answer our questionnaires, like who's the most controversial host of the show, or who's the best host of the show. But
I didn't get any votes for that either.
I would vote for you.
the salt is too real.
I'll vote for you.
You're one of the hosts.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's all. You know what? I'm gonna rant for a second here.
Really?
It's
Okay.
all these votes are friendship based, right? Matt gets voted in by his mates. You get voted by your mates.
Do I even have
Are
mates
you
though?
throwing shade on
Yeah.
like, on air?
Like
Yes.
you have mates too.
This man is in control
I mean,
of your microphone. He can just turn it off.
Remember what happened a few episodes ago. Remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Try talking now, Nezar.
Hi guys.
It's
So yeah, I'm just a bit cross.
you're just a bit miffed.
Oh.
You're allowed to be miffed.
Oh.
Look, okay,
We'll sort this out off air.
yeah, we'll console a big group
That would
bear
help.
hug. Come right.
in as well.
And now to the break. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Loughborough Campus Radio.
LCR.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen.
And we are back.
Can we replace the dan 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 with this forever?
I mean, this is
This
more
is-
meant
this
for the
is very
second
nice.
half.
This is
yeah.
chilled.
This is meant.
This is chill.
When was this introduced?
No, this is just something I found lying around. But there you go.
Sounds better.
I'm glad you like him. So, welcome to the second half of the show. With that introduction out of the way, wow, what an introduction! But welcome to the second half of the show. So, what we do here is more of a chill section. That's what we call it.
We groove.
we
We groove.
we talk about things that are interested to us. You know, we just kick back, relax, and enjoy the whistle tune while Nezar tells us about his nightmares.
Whoa.
is this the new segment?
We had Ruben rants, now Nezar's nightmares.
Nezar's nightmares. Oh, that's good. I love it.
wait, what?
I mean, I'm glad you kept like the alliteration.
Oh.
Thing going on.
That was it. That's a big thing. You got to have
Yeah.
alliteration. Otherwise,
Fritz's facts.
Fritz's frustrations.
Oh yeah, Fritz's frustrations.
brilliant.
And I don't know.
James's jewels.
Ooh.
Yeah, because Jules, you could argue, is a form of a story. You know.
Yeah.
And Josh is here too, I guess.
Josh is
Thanks.
James.
Thanks for remembering me.
Just Josh.
Just
just Josh.
Only Josh. Just
That's
Josh.
brilliant. I love it. Okay.
Everyone
so,
gets their own section like that. But go ahead, yes.
all right. So how about this for just Josh?
We are not keeping that, by the way. Trademark, though. Trademark 2018. Try me.
So there was a project. Bristol won the European
Union.
Greenest City of the Year. I believe that was in 2014. Unfortunately I don't know specifics, but it was about 2-3 years ago. So I think 2014, it won the European Greenest City Award, and as a result of that, Airbus has launched a project where they're trying to build a electric plane. They called it EcoFlyer, and they basically it was the goal was to build a small little electric. What's going on?
I'm
here?
laughing
What's going
because
on?
Fritz is laughing.
I'm just laughing because you're just talking about electric planes. I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay.
No, it's got.
Fritz finds advancements in technology.
I find
funny.
planes funny.
Okay.
How do they fly?
Nano machines.
Whoa.
Special guest, the Wright brothers.
Paul Chuckle. The Chuckle brothers. Go on, sorry, John.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's good. That's
Go
fine.
on.
What
Anyway.
if you dated a girl?
What?
Never mind, don't worry.
Okay. So they're trying to build this thing called EcoFly, and it's a little electric prop-driven plane. Unfortunately, the project has been shelved because management decided to approach it from the point of view as a microcosm of all the processes. And bearing in mind, Airbus is literally one of the biggest European companies ever.
One of the only.
And it's unbelievably vast. And the bureaucratic processes are quite intense, as it should be, because there's a lot of safety, there's a lot of critical processes and materials, etc. And the safety record is the best of any transport, and so it's right to be careful. But unfortunately, it does lead to a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of hoops to jump through if you want to do something. And they basically, management decided to use EcoFlyer as a microcosm of Airbus. And it got shelved because it completely died because they couldn't do anything. They had to follow the Airbus processes to the letter, and when you're dealing with maybe like a 20-person team, it just they couldn't physically do it because it barely works when they've got thousands of employees.
Are you allowed to tell us this, by the way? Just checking.
I believe so.
Just in case we're gonna get slammed for like potentially leaking company
No,
secrets. Was it publicised?
It was publicised. They were definitely publicising a lot about EcoFlyer, and so I think the from what I last heard, the project had been cancelled, and from what I heard, one of the factors was that it was used as a learning platform to try follow the Airbus processes, but they weren't fully. Well, no, it works for a big company. Unfortunately, you can't scale that to a small team with trying to do an entire project as a self-sustained unit.
Well, yeah. I mean, how much of this was money? Because if you have to follow all the safety procedures, but you've only got 20 people. If you even take one person out, that's still a huge hit to the team that you have.
That's true. Yeah. And every stage costs more money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe if they had dedicated like 1,000 people to it, it would have been fine.
Maybe if you had dedicated wham.
More dedicated wham.
The most dedicated wham we need. Sorry, John.
I don't understand.
I'll explain.
Well, basically,
You actually did it on mine.
was it like a Minecraft convention?
Minecon, yes.
Yeah, I think it was the creators. I'm not sure. They were doing a panel and asking questions.
Okay.
And one of the questions was by this poor kid
Super Caitlin.
Yeah, he clearly had some kind of speech impediment, and he was meant to say how much dedicated RAM.
Oh.
But it came out as dedicated wham.
Oh.
And it's become a meme since then.
Okay.
He came out, it's been like, how much dedicated wham? And they're like, what? Huh? And then he's like, dedicated wham, and he's like, oh, dedicated RAM, oh, and then everyone just laughed.
The sad part is the kid left before, like, he left the panel, like, wondering what he was saying. It's because the kid was so embarrassed, he turned around and he went away, and then he was like, I think it's a dedicated RAM, is what he said. It was a sad thing, but
yeah, I mean,
that kid has grown.
On the one hand, you laugh, but on the other hand, you got to feel sad for the kid. But if you go to downloadmorewham.com, you can watch the video.
Go to downloadmorewham.com.
Yeah.
Download more RAM. Oh, Christ. Imagine if you could do that. Download more.
So, in other news, our best friend, our South African, pimp boy.
Well, you know him.
Yeah, man. Well, me and Elon Musk go way back, back to primary school days.
I was gonna sneeze.
I thought I was leaving the office.
A huge build-up.
Yeah, I thought you were leaving the office. Like, how do you know Elon Musk?
Nah, I thought I was gonna sneeze.
But me and Elon.
Achoo! Hear that, audience?
That is the powerful sound of Nezar sneezing. Achoo! But Elon Musk is selling fire. Oh, I forgot what
flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers. That's it. I forgot what the word was.
Fire throwers.
That's fire throwers.
What is he thinking?
I mean, why would you question Elon Musk?
Because
Why would we question Elon
That
Musk?
sounds like a defense.
No, I respect the man, and I like the fact he's doing these crazy things. But you can still question these things that he's doing.
He's a madman with a box. He just enjoys himself.
He saw a clip of a person with a lighter and a deodorant can on the internet and thought, well, why don't we sell these instead?
I mean, I can see the reasoning. If you have the money for it, this is exactly the kind of thing Nezar would be doing.
Me? Why me?
What would you do if you had like 10 million and you saw? What would you do? What would you do if you saw a video on the internet? Would you create the product?
No. I'm not that creative, nor am I that. I'm also too lazy to do something like that. That's more of a Ruben thing.
What, you're telling me Ruben would create? Actually, yeah, Ruben would create a thing.
Flamethrowers, yeah.
Ruben's that kind of
in
guy.
unison that was.
You give Ruben like a weapon, he will create something.
What would I do with 10 million? I don't know.
Invested in Bitcoin.
It'd be a point where like, oh no, I've kind of got my goal, now what?
He's just going to live off the 10 million for the rest of his life. He's going to take his sister to America to get married to the Dwayne Rock Johnson.
Hopefully. That's the plan.
Your mum's never going to let that happen.
Nah, she'd marry him first.
Wow. Wow. Oh, that's something.
Hey man, they both like him, so what can you do?
What would your dad do?
He'd probably be like, good on you. My mum, he'd probably be angry, of course. My daughter, he'd probably be happy. Why not? Right?
Would you adopt the Dwayne Rock Johnson diet?
No.
The diet?
I'd die. His diet
What's
is...
his diet?
He eats like... He has 5 meals a day, and
Wow.
they all consist of steak.
Jeez.
I think we discussed on here that he's not going to live very long. Like, he's
having a hell of a time.
yeah, he's getting his healthy life out of the way now, so that by the point he hits 60 or 70, he'll just be like, whatever. It's like, I'll be dead,
Bring
but
me another cow.
Bring me another cow.
I'll eat the entire cow. But yeah,
I now eat 3 cows.
that's all that's going on in Dwayne Johnson's life.
Does that include breakfast as well?
Yes.
What?
He probably, you know, there's probably some kind of diversity there, but the main thing is, you know, red meat.
I can't imagine having like beef for breakfast. That sounds like a bad idea.
That's why he's really hench, man.
Sounds like a good meal right there, man. I could get behind that. Beef for breakfast. Delicious.
I'm not sure it's worth being that hench. Just have like
No,
steak
no,
5
not
times
at
a day
all.
now. I'm fine with how I am. I
So-
like crisps in the morning.
Crisps.
Well, I mean, he probably also puts like some substances in his meals.
It's the most British thing I heard. Crisps in the morning. Crisps in a packet and like
They're
tea.
close to the bed, you know.
The kettle is right, like on the window, still right next to the bed. You just put the kettle on and just like drink tea in the
You don't
morning.
have to leave bed. It's great.
Tea and
I
crisps
usually
and-
make myself porridge in the mornings.
Too much effort.
Wow.
In unison.
Oh, I love it.
Wow.
If somebody's making porridge for you, sure. You're doing it yourself? Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. These like ready bread, like the ready bread that comes, or you just open it up, pour a little bit of milk in, put it in the microwave. Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Milk?
still
That's the
3
porridge.
minutes.
Milk? You could afford milk? Man, we poured water in that.
Yeah, I put water in it.
Yeah.
I live on Dwayne Johnson's farm. You know, I've got the cows to stand there.
He's the one selling the cows.
I'm pretty sure I put milk in it too. I've never.
It does say put milk in it.
Yeah.
Also, where are you going? That milk's so expensive. I go to Tesco's and I get like 2 pints for less than £1.
It's one of the few things that's not even that pricey at the Union, to be honest.
Compared to everything else.
Yeah.
Shots fired at the Union.
I mean, they're only downstairs, Nezar. Just be careful what you say. They can come
He's
up here.
again, this is why he's the most controversial host. He's going to get us shut down by
Yeah.
talking.
No.
Hey, what are you saying about our milk?
He might not be politically motivated, but damn, does he speak some controversial stuff about the
I don't
Union?
think that's controversial. That's just well known.
What, you're trying to say that...
Whoa, are you trying to say that the good, reputable people downstairs are overcharging?
It's a well-known thing that the union is quite expensive. I'm not saying that they don't need to be expensive, but they are expensive. They probably need to be expensive because they're an independent outlet.
Tea Time Talk has been cancelled.
Oh, yeah.
If we survive the episode after Christmas, we'll survive this.
Well, that episode is going up on YouTube now. I'm looking forward to it.
Same. That's going to be excellent background noise.
It's going to be one good episode. What other random stuff do we have this week? What
Let's
other...
debate about something.
Let's debate about Nezar.
Why?
I'm back in
Why does
Nezar.
this pick on
Can a
Nezar
man care
Day?
about his hair too
No,
much?
I'm in his corner. I'm in his corner.
Talk about his hairline. It's perfect.
Yeah.
My hairline is perfect. That is true. But I've had a bit of a problem with my hair wearing these. I've grown out too long. Now it's making a permanent imprint in my hair.
I have something we can discuss. What's your opinion on YouTube pranks?
What? Obviously, then bad.
Are they good? Can there be such a thing as good YouTube pranks?
No.
Yeah,
No?
when they demonetize everybody's videos. It's hilarious. I love that one.
Yeah, if it's legit.
Thanks, Jake Paul.
Yeah, if it's legit, but at this stage, how do we know which ones are real and how do we know which ones are fake? They seem all staged to me.
Everything on YouTube is staged. It's just the way of YouTube.
Even this show.
Good point.
We have like somebody like holding cards or
Yeah.
like reading.
I am meant to repeat this sentence in this very accurate way. Because we have a thing where there's been backlash against a person who did like a fake acid prank in London. Like he walked around throwing water at people.
I'm sorry, but that's just messed up.
Like even as like whoever sat there and said, "Oh, this would be hilarious." I don't think someone getting like anything thrown in their face is funny.
Pranks were controversial before that.
Is this American humour coming through again?
No,
'Cause this is something I don't understand.
No, this is British, 100% British.
What?
His response was, "No, why are you getting angry over this? I've done worse stuff." That's his defense.
To be fair, there has been more controversial pranks in the past. I don't know.
that doesn't justify.
It doesn't justify it. I'm not excusing it, but it's just weird that it's now like
Yeah.
they're starting to be like, oh, it's controversial.
Okay,
Have you seen the kidnapped by what is it, ISIS prank?
Oh no.
What?
Yeah, it's the kidnapped
no.
by ISIS prank where he pretends he kidnaps somebody and then shoots his friend in front of him.
Oh yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's really
Oh,
bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine that garnered like YouTube controversy, but it's not become.
I think this is the problem with the internet. They're always playing catch up, so they only start dealing with the problem when it becomes viral in this way.
But this isn't the first time it's become viral, because that video did do the rounds quite a bit, but it was taken down really before anyone could do anything about it. But something like this where it's remained up, is it still up, or did
No,
you take
I
it
think
down?
it's probably been taken down. But this is the one case where YouTube actually took down the video, not the person
who-
himself.
wow.
Who was the guy that did that?
Oh,
I know who it is.
Wow.
I can see his face now, because I remember my friend used to watch him, and as soon as he did that video, he said, "Yeah, I'm unsubscribing." And I think it was one of the few videos where all of his subscribers said, "You've gone too far this time."
What, are you talking about this guy or?
No, the guy who did the kidnapped by ISIS video.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I watched the video out of curiosity, and it's like, yeah, that's not even. I don't even know how you can think that's remotely funny.
Well, they're feeding off of the fear in society. So especially in London or in places where there have been recent terror attacks, they always you sometimes see a video of like fake bomb prank in London or something right afterwards, and they appeal to this like stereotypical view of Arab people, like they put in something full on Arabic clothing. I don't know what name of what.
Sam Pepper.
Sam Pepper, that was his name. Yeah. Then
Oh,
he did
the guy that shot.
ISIS.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's trying to come back to YouTube, but he's irrelevant now, isn't he?
Yep.
He's quite. But what was I saying? Yeah, so they go with the stereotypical like Arab clothing style, and then they walk around with a massive bag, and then they just throw it at people, and then say the words associated with, that event, and then they run away. And
It's it's distasteful.
Yeah.
And
Well, it provokes a genuine response from security forces.
Well, that's what it is. It's shock value.
And
it's views.
and I think they're just asking for it. They're asking for trouble. And if they find trouble, if they get arrested, if they get, if they have armed response, then they brought it on themselves. There's nothing to play around with.
like, do you remember when we were younger? There was a TV show called Just for Laughs. And like the most extreme those pranks ever got was it was a bin, and when you put the thing in the bin, they just pushed it back out.
Oh yeah.
And now we've got people going around like faking gun shootings and bomb scares. It's like, what happened?
Why do we have to go to that length to
Yeah.
find humour?
I think the more that people start to get more sensitive about issues, the more people will want to start fighting.
Yeah, there is the shock humour. Like, you two,
Yeah.
this happened.
It's like that one time Nezar thought there were shots fired at Oxford Circus.
Oh, that was a good one.
He thought there were genuine shots being fired at a circus in Oxford.
I think we discussed this, but shots fired. I thought somebody was dropping their mixtape at a circus. There were shots fired at Oxford Circus. I was like, what? Excuse me?
Because I was telling him the story about this was like during I think Black Friday or something. Before in the wake up to Christmas, and there were reports of something mysterious happening at Oxford Circus that had to shut down a station and police were around, and people were reporting saying shots fired in Oxford Circus. Now Nezar, being the brilliant mind that he is, thought that Oxford Circus was just a circus in Oxford, and thought that shots fired was just someone dropping the mixtape in the middle of Oxford Street. I had to sit down and explain to him that no, this is a place in London, and people are like, there's gunfire, not mixtapes being shot.
We need to teach you about the South, you know, where things are.
Teach you about this.
And then I laughed for a very long time.
You can listen to that show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was like the only one. It was when it was just me and Fritz.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, you guys actually did a duo.
Yeah.
Nice.
There are times where
I'm not missing a show.
That's good.
there are times where Ruben betrays us.
See, most dedicated host right there.
I am the most dedicated one.
Are you sure about that? Have you been running this show for 2 years?
I was, when you went away and Ruben was here, I said we should just do the show. Let us do it. And you were like, no, you probably don't know how to work the thing.
Or do you know how to work? Well, you're more than welcome to sit here right now if you want
I
to work
would
this.
guess. So, like, Ruben would come out, fucking scream,
Oh!
I swore, damn
There
it.
it is.
Most controversial host. There
Ruben
we go.
would come out screaming and I wouldn't be audible at him.
Oh.
For good reasons.
Well, this guy
clearly.
wasn't me.
That's the first time I dropped that on the show.
The mixtape has been
Has
dropped.
it feels good, doesn't it?
It's a bit cathartic, yes.
You have finally achieved blockage. I mean, we have the rules right here, right next to us.
Is it rule number 1? No, it's 6.
Yeah, be sensitive.
Number 6.
No, at least it's the sixth most
Yeah,
important
so do you know
rule.
what? It's sort of in the top 5, you're fine.
Was that the first time the F word has been dropped on this show?
I think you've dropped it once casually, like in between.
Not me. It wouldn't have been me.
Really?
Yeah,
Good point,
I
is
was
that?
really sensitive on dropping that word in particular, and I used to call out others for just saying, less sweary words.
Let's move on from that.
Yeah.
We shall leave that in the past.
Edit that out.
Yeah. Why not?
Have you not told him yet?
No, now he knows not to question me. I am the one with the editing power.
I mean, if it's on YouTube, I don't care.
Oh yeah, YouTube swears all the time. Are you right there, Josh? You're just judging me with your judgy eyes.
Let's move on. I think that's good.
James, how are you finding it?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm always happy.
Are you glad you joined us today?
Yeah, it's been an experience and a half.
Oh.
I've learned new things about Nezar.
First show he
I'll
comes
forget.
on, I have to drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, you've let yourself down. I thought you were the perfect radio host.
This is what happens when I'm
When
talking
he's chill.
when I'm talking.
He's
No,
chill,
this is what happens
yeah.
when I'm talking to James.
This is what happens.
Now it's my fault, is it,
Because we
Nezar?
casually swear a lot.
This is true.
We don't like it when mummy and daddy are fighting. Stop it.
I thought me and
What was
you
that
were.
accent?
I thought I thought me and you were Matt's mum and dad.
I mean, yeah, sure. If don't okay,
Okay, this we should move. Yeah.
there needs to be context here. What is the context again? Is it just that Matt's too wild, so we have to be his carers?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Matt gets a bit wild. How are you finding it, Josh? You're back. Well, this is like
It's good to be back. This is so familiar. I just love the fact that they've actually renovated our little studio. I remember when it was last year. And
It wasn't as bright, but
this is really nice.
I
They tidy
actually
things up.
I actually missed the lack of brightness. I thought it would.
Me too.
It worked it created ambiance.
No, it was like before we broke up. Yeah, it was a lot darker. I don't like the bright lights at all. Is there any way we can
You've given
just?
design tips on how to make a studio.
I've never liked
less lighting.
I've never liked bright lights. It just makes it feel all artificial, in my opinion.
I like there's no window. I want to look outside and see what's going on.
You could give a weather update.
You know what? That's actually probably all right, because if there was no window, we wouldn't need his light. If there was a window, we wouldn't need his lights on. I just let the natural light come in, light up the room.
If something interesting happens outside, you could describe it.
Yeah, you could be like, somebody just fell on their face. What an idiot.
Let me tweet about it.
Well, you could give a genuine weather update, even
Yeah.
though everyone could just
I
literally
could
look out
hazardly
the
guess.
window.
Grey skies,
Yeah.
cold,
Oh,
raining.
controversial. Oh,
Every single day,
yeah.
I'll be here
Okay.
to tell you.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I'm backing that.
Yeah.
I think that would be genuinely interesting.
I'm putting 10 Bitcoin into it.
Did you see, actually, speaking of weather, that someone's, I think it was the BBC might have said it, we might expect some snow sometime next week.
Hopefully.
Oh, that'd be
Hopefully.
nice. What,
I
up
love
here?
snow. Snow's a good weather.
Yeah.
He said that so innocently. It's just like an adorable, I like snow.
Snow's my favourite type of weather.
That's nice.
Really?
Yeah, rain's, whatever.
I like sun because it doesn't hurt.
Oh, God.
Are you sure about that?
Well, okay, maybe
Sun is bad.
when it gets too hot, maybe, but rain whips on your face, snow.
It's the fact
hurts.
that summer exams are when the sun is at its most unbearable.
Yeah, why don't we do exams in I don't know, nice spring weather?
Yeah.
Why do you do summer exams in a room filled with other people? Summer exams are organized in the most terrible way in the universe. This is... You're stuck in a room where it's warm and boiling, surrounded by other people who are also nervous and just terrified. It's bad. You're not going to focus in when there's moist. The room is just moist.
I love exams.
What?
Out. Out.
I was going to say,
Did you get a year off from them?
Okay, all right. No, maybe it's just dulled the pain. But no, I genuinely love being in that exam hall.
What?
Why? Do you like pressure?
It is. It's
Do you
nice.
like pressure?
No, you just sit there and you think, right, I'm going to do this. Okay.
I mean, that's not what I thought during exams. It was just internal screaming
all right.
for hours.
Crying again, my skin.
Oh, exam season's horrible.
Okay.
I hate the fact that people walk around and judge you.
Yeah.
Invigilators.
Yeah, you know that they're playing games like who do you think's most likely to fail, or who do you think's got the stupidest hair.
No, you know what invigilators do? It's like
This guy after he's taken headphones off.
oh, shots fired.
It's accurate, though.
Invigilators.
Not in Oxford Circus.
Invigilators sometimes look at the questions, like they stand next to you, they read the questions, then they read your response, and then they walk away with a smile upon their face. And that's when I don't know whether I'm good at it or if I'm writing a stupid thing and I just get like really
Do they
furious.
actually read your responses? I didn't.
Well, they sometimes just peek by as they walk by. They look at what you're writing.
I've never
Have
seen
you ever
that happen.
failed an exam?
No.
No.
Well, then there's nothing to worry about. They
There you go.
judged you, but you still passed.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's not nice having someone stand over you and watching you while you're doing your own work.
How do you
Oh,
feel when we
whatever,
make fun
they're
of your
not-
hair? Do you feel bad?
Should we stand above you, Nezar, as you do your exams and make sure you pass?
Well, if I passed, at least I wouldn't be an invigilator. At least I'd actually have a job.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
You can't say that.
you know that they bring in invigilators like they're professors from other universities, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't know who
Do
I
you
am.
redact your previous statement
Yes, I do.
They don't know who you are.
before you get sued? Again.
Why are they playing games on me and I can't fire back? That's not fair.
I mean, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
No, I'll give
exactly.
you that.
You can
No,
fire
no.
back by passing your exams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point I was making.
If an invigilator wants to come down here and say something about it, I will happily.
Yeah, I'll be
agree.
like, get out of here. What are you doing?
Nezar's gonna fight you.
1v1 me in exams right now.
Invigilators might be really tough. You never know. They probably.
Well, what would you do if Dwayne The Rock Johnson was an invigilator?
I'd probably.
Do your exam.
Had enough steak today.
I'd probably be happy. I'd probably,
Tasty livestock.
I'd start talking to him. I heard he's a swell guy in real life.
Did you say he's a swole guy or a swell?
Both.
Yeah.
He looks really happy.
Yeah, no, he seems like the nicest guy.
He looks happy, therefore he is happy.
Well, to be fair, that is a genuine, there's like the celebrity smile, like,
That is the
there's
most-
like the
Yeah.
genuine
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah,
He's
genuinely.
genuinely smiling all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, Josh looks happy all the time, but I know he's screaming and he's screaming for condensed milk.
condensed milk, excuse me?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is gonna be. Go on, Josh.
I have a sweet tooth. So sweet that occasionally I have to go to the cupboard and grab myself some condensed milk and just eat it straight.
James's face right now.
Ugh,
James is really wondering.
it's
Like,
nasty. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I am sorry too.
tell us the worst combination you did, like in second year in our hall.
Hang on. I had custard, condensed milk. What other sweet product did I have, Fritz?
You had like that
Pure
cream
sugar.
thing. That,
Creamy
That what was that thing? That
A bag full of sugar.
icing.
icing.
You had like some icing thing.
Okay. Oh, hang on. What was it? Salted caramel or something?
No. There's
No.
like this tub of like icing thingy-mabob that you used to
Oh,
slap on top
yes.
of cakes.
Betty Crocker, cream icing,
There we go.
and put that all together and microwaved it.
And you think
Now, I mean,
He's not diabetic.
How are you still alive?
you say you have a sweet tooth. I mean, with the amount you're eating, you're not going to have any teeth left anyway, you know?
No, I know.
I mean, at least you're going to have healthy bones with that calcium in there, but...
In my defence, that is only very
There's
occasional.
no defence for that, even occasionally. Once a year is too many.
Oh no, you've got him ranting now.
Oh.
Welcome to
Sorry.
James.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not my finest achievement.
Quick question though: is condensed milk different to evaporated milk? Or?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So condensed milk is
Thick.
thick
Ooh.
and sweet cream. So it's
Oh,
very sweet. It's like
dear.
50% sugar, 50% cream.
That's I'm with that. Yeah, that's. I mean, I like chocolate and sweets as much as the next guy, but if you're just drinking pure sugar, you know,
It's only very occasionally. Like when I
that doesn't make it better.
Stuff like that makes me want to just drink water. when I see stuff like that, I'm like,
Okay.
I'm gonna drink from my tap. See you.
See, the thing is, I can handle like a teaspoon of condensed milk in my tea, like to sweeten it up.
Semi-skimmed.
Oh,
That's
that,
it.
you
Oh,
know,
go home.
Skimmy skim.
I said semi-skimmed.
Semi skim.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Well, the
boys.
blue milk,
Full fat, bro.
No,
Full fat.
semi-skimmed. Full fat's not good for you.
Says
Do
who?
you-
I'll find them.
Oh, good. Well, clearly it's had no effect on you, so keep going full fat.
Here's
It's
the
all
I've
right.
realised that food is the most divisive thing about the show.
Speaking of food,
Food is
Jaffa cakes.
subjective.
Hey,
Come on,
cakes.
Nezar.
Food taste,
cakes.
all right. Food taste is subjective. It's the most subjective thing
That's
I'd
true.
say in the world.
That's true.
Next to
To be fair, I can
Are you sure? I
actually
thought that was
see-
political opinions.
No, because you know.
you're either one or the other with political.
No.
With countries that have no choice in politics, you still argue about food.
Yeah, exactly.
So go on then. Food opinions.
Oh,
Jaffa
food-
cakes.
We've discussed this on the show. It's not good.
We have two new contenders here. Today.
Defend Jaffa cakes. Make your argument.
No, to be fair, I can see why some people wouldn't like them.
I just don't like. I don't see it.
Yeah, because many people don't like chocolate and orange going together.
I mean,
Well, kind of. I do like chocolate oranges.
Oh, okay, right.
But I
Then
don't-
what's wrong with you?
Jaffa cakes. I just don't get it. I don't see the appeal.
That's fair enough.
That's it's terrible.
I respect your opinion, but on the other hand, you are wrong. You know?
On the other hand, die.
Oh dear.
I mean, if we talk about foods that we don't like, can I just throw an avocado for a second? Oh,
That's
hold
fine.
on.
That's fine.
well, no, okay, so I actually do have a legitimate reason as to why I don't like avocados.
Food talk part 2. Let's go.
You see, the avocado is it comes out the fridge and you cut it up, and the first thing you have to get around is the fact it's one of the most dangerous things you have to open.
Okay, apart from a mango.
Apart from, at least with the mango you can eat normally. You have to
Yeah.
at least
A
take
mango
the
is
skin
easy
off.
to cut. You just grab the mango, cut it, and you eat it. Mangoes are fine. I can handle a mango.
I buy
Okay,
my mangoes in tins anyway, so
Okay.
it's not one for me.
Disappointing.
Same.
But no, avocado, they're very hard to open.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're just left with like green mush. And it doesn't matter how cold the avocado is, it still tastes like it's like dissolving and warm in your mouth.
It's just
Ew.
yeah. No, I'd agree with that. It's not my
No,
go-to.
but that's why.
fruit.
So basically, it's a buttery fruit, a buttery vegetable.
That
So what
sounds
you do,
terrible.
you mix it with butter and pepper and salt, and you make like a spread, and then you put it on sandwiches.
Look, mate. The fact that you have to add to it means that it's not good
Yeah.
by itself.
Oh yeah, take this avocado, then make it completely unrecognisable.
Well,
then it's
yeah.
delicious.
When I
Yeah.
buy when I get an apple, it tastes good by itself. I'm not covering it in butter.
and he
like-
eats the whole thing.
And I eat
He eats the whole
the
thing.
entire thing.
He eats the cyanide pills.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm
See you guys.
impressed. I'm impressed.
I don't like avocado either. I'll be honest.
Okay, now that one's not really controversial.
I had it on pizza once, and I didn't realise, and I wanted to cry.
Wow.
With that said, we're gonna have to excuse Josh because Josh has some prior engagements. So
I'm sorry.
going-
I'm
it's
fine.
sorry. I need
Well,
Where's
thank
to
you.
you
run.
going?
Thank you for coming back.
I'm merely going.
Nowhere in particular, mate.
Just casually going go.
Are you going to be driving
just
somewhere?
casually going karting?
Don't casually go karting.
Go kart karting.
He's down here for 3 days. He's trying to pack as much activity
Yeah,
as
yeah,
possible.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like what I did when I.
Wait, is it in Loughborough?
I don't know actually. I think it's East Midlands karting. It's about 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's nearby, I was going to go karting.
Yeah,
that'd
fine.
be great.
That'd be cool.
You know, we should just go karting without Josh.
We should do a live
Yeah,
show
if
there.
you want
That'd be
to.
great.
Yeah, we'll just go
we should
karting.
record our reactions reacting to Josh going to.
What we'll have like
What a smug-looking guy.
we'll have like a paper mache figure of Josh, and we'll have like baseball bats. And we each get one swing.
Is there a prize inside?
Hmm?
Is there a prize inside?
Condensed milk.
Okay.
An avocado.
Prize isn't worth it.
But with that, we have to excuse Josh.
All
So
right.
thank you so much for coming.
No worries. Thank you, everyone.
We'll
Thank you
hopefully see
to
you-
my
Good
host
to meet you.
James
Yes.
and Nezar, and to my host Fritz.
What's up, my boy? Right.
All right.
We
Keep
shall-
well, everyone. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Now we're gonna switch this over to our boy.
Ooh, I get the fancy one now.
Like
I've just been
5
using one
minutes,
that I'm, a little one.
There we go.
Hey, so I got the new one now.
Hey.
Ooh.
See you later, Josh. Be careful. Oh wait, how are you gonna get out?
Through the door?
Somebody
No.
will let him out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a thick door.
Exactly. Somebody will let him out.
What is this?
It's a door.
It's the thickest door I've ever seen.
It's a door. I mean, it's living.
Sorry, I'm easily impressed.
Is this room? Is it okay? Nobody's gonna hear us on the outside. It's soundproof.
Yeah,
so-
the soundproof is good.
Maybe that's why it's thick. Anyway, you got any other food that we can talk about for 5 minutes?
You sound really. Let's just talk about your mood today. You don't sound happy in the slightest. What's happened?
I'm happy. I'm alright. This
Yeah?
is just how I am neutrally.
Really?
Yes.
Even neutrally, you seem to have a bit more. Yes, you seem like the rain's had a bad. You've had a bad rain day.
Nah, I'm fine, mate.
How are you feeling today? Tell us about
Feeling
your.
good.
Tell us about your emotional status. you
It's
know.
alright.
How's everything going?
Everything's going alright, mate.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling alright.
Okay, that's good.
I'm not particularly in a great mood. I got to work later, but it's not having an effect on my mood now.
Yeah.
I'd worked yesterday. And you don't have to work in a reputable fast food restaurant, Nezar.
Hmm.
You don't have to deal with people throwing Fanta at your face.
Did they?
They did, yes.
Why?
I was doing a night shift
Full on
once.
cans of it.
There we go. James's jobs.
We got
Jewels.
5 minutes to
James
kill.
Job
Go
Jewel.
ahead.
So I work in a fast food restaurant, and occasionally I have to do the night shifts. And last time I did a night shift, I was casually taking someone's order. We were having a great time. He wanted some, chicken, and so we're taking the order. Could I have the money, please? He passes over the money, and something slams into the till next to me. It was this close to hitting the person who was taking the order,
Right.
and it shifts this whole till backwards. And I found out it was a whole full bottle of Fanta that had just been lobbed across the room because someone was angry because their food wasn't coming fast enough.
Why?
I don't know.
Why
To
would
be
you...
fair, it's a fast food restaurant.
It's convenience food. And
Point proven.
It's in the name.
Yeah,
so
it was like
food should be coming quick.
2 in the morning. Everyone's had a good time at Fireflies or Revs or wherever the kids hang out these days. And
Hello, fellow youth.
They're a bit drunk.
yeah.
Was it a young'un or an adult?
I didn't see them, but
Okay.
they got kicked out.
Was it 2 in the morning?
It was 2 in the morning. Yeah. I like night shift because I get paid extra.
That's fair.
He acquires currency.
I
so
do.
He's lucky.
3 till 2. Was that what it was, or 4 till 2?
That night I think I worked from 9 p.m. till 5 a.m.
Okay. I thought you worked straight after on Friday.
No, I get. They just say, "Do you want to turn up now?" And I'm like,
Okay.
Okay, fine, that's good.
It's part of that 0-hour contract union, and
Now I know 0 hour. This is going to be something, but I know 0 hour contracts are a bit controversial, and people who have to use them for their main source of income, I can see why that's not good for them. But for someone like me, I like them because I get my schedule every week, and then I can say, oh well, I can't do then, so
He
I
works
give it
around.
off. I send that to someone else, but I can say, oh, I can do then, and then I take their shift, so we can just swap shifts whenever. It's great.
The thing about 0-hour contracts is it needs to be certain. It arguably needs to be set for certain kinds of people.
It works
So if
for
you're-
part-time.
Yeah, if you're a student, then a 0-hour contract. But if you're someone who's actually looking for genuine employment, long-term employment,
Yeah.
then 0-hour contract should not be the thing that you're given.
I personally wouldn't mind seeing 0 hour contracts replacing part-time weekend jobs, so that would help me in secondary school because I spent an entire year looking for a job because I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's basically one line of jobs and you have to be skilled to do it. And so I spent a year looking for jobs, and when I did finally get one, it was, you have to turn up on a Saturday between these hours. And okay, that's fair enough, but with this job I can just say, well, I'm not doing anything on Wednesday afternoon. Do you mind if I come in and work for a bit?
Yeah,
nice.
it has its benefit. Again, it's argued that it has its benefits for those that necessarily utilize it in the right way. But then there's those that, of course, if you're as you said, if you're having someone who's using that as your main source of income, you don't want that. But it's the fact that you give a company an inch and they'll take the whole mile.
Yeah.
They'll take everything and they'll push whatever they want. So 0-hour contracts, while it might benefit you, it benefits the company more because they don't have to pay people.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is what sucks about it.
Although, if there are people out there listening and they do want to get a job, don't be picky. Just apply to absolutely everywhere, even places you don't want to, because once you start getting responses back, you have the power to turn people down.
That's very useful advice for me, who's currently looking for jobs again.
Also, get a job in the food industry as well, because you are guaranteed to get free food. Every time I work, I get a free meal, so I'm not complaining.
Can't argue with that.
No, exactly. So it sorts out like 2 or 3 meals a week for me.
Oh, that's good.
How's job hunting going for it?
Terrible, let's be honest. I tried setting up a LinkedIn a few days ago. Nothing's happened there.
Yeah, last week we had this conversation, didn't we? It was like the most down part of the
It is
section.
like job hunting in third year again. Just to alliterate on what I said last week, it's terrible. I've tried to search for jobs and they just have like so many. They have either they have expectations, like you have to study a certain degree, or there are some that you can apply for the job, but then you have to do these lengthy processes, these lengthy questionnaires and things. And there was one company I applied for recently, although I stopped applying for them actually because I didn't like the company anymore.
I've decided I don't like you guys.
No, it's
anymore.
because of the questionnaire.
Yeah.
Because this company, and I'm not going to disclose their name, but I was applying for their job to work potentially in HR. And some of the questions were like, oh, I don't mind working for a company that puts money before customers or money before ethics. And I was like,
oh,
I kind of do.
Well, maybe that's the test. Maybe if you said yes, they'd know to just discard your thing straight away. Maybe
exactly.
It was one of those.
So I realized instantly, like, I do not want to work for this company, and I think it was an energy/oil company. I think I don't want to. Of course,
there you go,
oil company. I mean, hello, but it's just me trying to put my hands out there and find a job or something. Because again, as I said last time, looking for jobs it's punishing. It's brutal. You don't do any exercise in the slightest. You don't do like anything apart from moving the mouse or typing on your computer.
Yeah.
But at the end of it all, you just feel drained.
Well, do you remember when you used to have to go and actually hand your CV in?
I did that, and then here's the thing. I did that in A-level during A-levels.
Yeah.
Me and my friend, I think I've said this before, but me and my mates printed off CVs and went into like Westfield, Stratford. And we were going to like random shops and saying, hey, we have our CVs, would you mind taking a look at them for maybe like part-time Saturday weekend jobs? And they're like, no, just go online. We won't look at it, just go online. And then you go online, and then there's the whole process of having to do all these questionnaires, and it's just, well, what's the point then? You feel a bit pointless.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
It depends on for what I see is that job prospects now, it depends on who you know.
Yes,
it really does.
yes.
If you know someone who's in upper management, you're more likely to get a job rather than if you're someone out from the outside going in.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks if your family is a family coming in from the outside in, where they don't really know anyone in the country before. They don't know anyone in like high level positions. So then you are the one that has to end up looking for the job. You're the one that has to somehow get into this market without knowing anyone. I think it sucks.
Well, I guess that's probably why the university suggests people do like placement years, because if you do that placement year, although you may not end up working at that company, you have a foot in the door somewhere, and you can then go somewhere else. But also that's why it's sort of like that snowball effect. It's really hard to get your first job, but once you've got your first job, that's it. Because I mean, as I said, I spent a year looking for a job, and then the college that I was at, out of pity, gave me a job and said, oh, you can work in the canteen over the summer, which I did. And once I had that on my CV, it just snowballed. And then immediately after I finished that job, I got one from a furniture store working in their cafe. And then I got one at this place that I'm at now. And also when I applied there, I applied to a few other places, and I got 4 or 5 back. And I was able to say, I don't want to go and work there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was more
The
like
process is probably going to be really hard, but once you find one,
but
you're
just
golden.
never give up. Never give up.
Persona 5
Never
golden.
surrender.
Because you're probably going to be working there for the rest of your life.
Well, the interesting thing is that people don't have like career things anymore. It's just like, I don't really care if I don't want to work for this job forever. If I find a job that pays me better, they'll just jump ship and go to that job.
But also, there are some places that like to promote people quickly because they always need higher management all the time. So the current place that I'm working, there's a guy who was a crew member just like 5 years ago. Suddenly, he's basically second from the manager, and he's earning a decent wage. I think he was something along the lines of like between £15 and £20 an hour, depending on when he worked, and that's decent pay for just working in a fast food restaurant.
That's very good pay.
So don't think fast food restaurant, I'm never going to go anywhere with this. You could end up earning decent pay.
Yeah. Well,
honestly, after uni, you should probably be an alright place to start.
Yeah.
Work your way up from there. Yeah. You could do job searching while you're working there. and that way you've got a permanent means of income, and I think you shouldn't transition from university to the job you want straight away, or the job you're aiming for straight away.
If you can, that's good, but always get some actual first-hand manual labour experience in first.
Be prepared for, I guess set yourself up for some kind of disappointment, because as we said, hearing back is very hard, especially when you look at our boys Fritz and Matt, and they're having a very hard time.
We are just drained of. I don't even want to think about it. Thinking about it already just drains my mind.
Have you had to do a video interview?
I had.
I hate those.
It's uncomfortable.
What's a video interview?
It's when you're not even talking to someone. You're just talking to the camera on your
That's
laptop.
Awful. Mm-hmm. That's awful.
You have to dress up and look smart.
Why don't they just say, come in and we'll do an interview with you?
Because that's too much effort.
Yeah, because then we have to actually put someone in front of you.
That's what they used to do. That's
exactly.
Awful.
There's a lack of any physical contact or any physical establishment. You're just talking to a computer screen. You're not talking to a person. A person isn't reading your CV. It's being shelved out through systems.
To be fair, I guess you can also do multiple takes though.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Okay, well at least you can
do a test. You can test the microphone and the video quality, and then you're on.
Well, at the very least, you can prepare yourself what to say, go over it
they
bunch
throw
of times.
a random a question will pop up on screen, and it will say if you were a fruit, which fruit would you be?
And you have 3 minutes. Not even that. You have 1 minute to prepare. Yeah.
When I went for an interview once, they asked me if I was a supermarket, which one would I be? I chose Asda because it caught me by surprise so much.
I don't know what this has to do with me working at SeaWorld, but okay.
Well, I don't know what this has to do with me working at what's that thing called? What's that? Universal's.
Yeah,
Universal Studios.
But all right, sure.
Well, it's just one of those questions where, I think I'm Marks and Spencer's. They know you're a snob and they fire you straight away.
I think I'm a little.
Hold on, I thought
I'm a little.
I'm German and I come from nowhere.
I thought that kind of question. I thought the answer was irrelevant. It's how you explained it what impressed him.
Maybe, but I'd be.
Oh, Marks and Spencer's, get out of here!
You can't work it.
Overpriced.
What if they ask you that at Tesco's? I feel like I'm a Tesco.
Applying for a job at Tesco. What do you feel like you are? I feel like I'm a saint. It's Tesco.
You sound
Tesco.
like a bit of a suck up. We're not going to hire you.
They could just not accept you for the most randomest of reasons.
I like, you just go, I like Asda, their prices are very reasonable.
They're always lowering them, didn't you know?
Yeah, you just say that. You should adopt their policy.
I like Tesco because every little helps. Maybe if you were a little kind and a little helpful, I might get a job here.
If somebody said that to me and I was employed, they'd be employed. Straight away.
You're a great boss.
Yeah. I'd be like, damn.
If anyone's looking for a boss, Nezar here.
I'm a boss for hire.
He's a boss for hire. And
you hire me, I'll come and shout at you for a few hours.
Pay him in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Pay me so I can pay you.
You thought Alan Sugar was a boss. Try Nezar for a day.
Yeah.
He won't say you're fired once. Do you know why? Because he loves his staff.
Yeah. He'll say, you can go home early today and you don't have to come back tomorrow.
As long as you pay me as long as you pay me in advance, you don't have to come in at all.
The plan called. They said if you don't come in today, don't bother coming in on Monday.
Woo! 4-day weekend. That's awesome. But anyway, jobs suck.
Jobs do suck.
Getting jobs suck, rather.
At this point, I'd rather have a job than being the pressure of having to constantly write the dissertational papers or stuff like that. You just rather have a job at this point.
At least you get paid for a job. You're paying to write this dissertation. That's not the way I want to roll. You know?
I'm in crippling financial debt to write a piece of paper that's going to support me.
But it's a good piece of paper.
It's a good piece of paper.
Damn good piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper.
Made of trees, you know.
Cool.
Yes.
You can make paper out of other things.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to elaborate. You can find out yourself.
Probably make paper out of the tears of people.
You can write a paper on how.
I'm going to write my dissertation on how to make paper from other things that aren't trees.
Okay, one question I have for you guys is, what is your opinion on still using paper in exams? Do you think we should switch to using computers, or do you think we do papers?
We should. Someone with atrocious handwriting, yes.
Anything that isn't maths, yes.
I mean, even like maths, you can sort of write it in on the screen, and then it will make it into
I
the
guess,
thing.
yeah. I guess.
Because I don't understand why we still use paper in regards to exams. It's
Written, like, it's especially when you're writing like essays, type exam style. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
One,
'cause-
they'd be done quicker on a
Yes.
computer, and people would be able to read. So it wouldn't even be like, oh, I'm going to mark them down because the handwriting's not good, or I can't read this. It'll be, I'm writing it down specifically for the content.
Yeah. He gets judged more on the content rather than the person.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It better
It's
happen.
gonna happen. It's just we're in this unfortunate time where it's not happening to us.
I mean, at the moment, I think there is, of course, the sustainability thing you have to look at. Oh, you know, there's making paper from trees is time consuming. It, you know, takes maybe 20, 30 years for a tree's ready to be turned into paper. But then on the other hand, you have to look at the upfront cost of buying a computer that's suitable for everybody to use, because you can't just say, oh, bring your phones in or bring your tablets in and just do your exam on that, because, well, then you could just pull up the answers.
You
But
could
if
cheat.
you could cheat, yeah.
Well,
Well, if it's an explain your view kind of question, having the internet wouldn't really be an issue, because if you're not prepared beforehand, then having 3 hours going down isn't going to prepare you, even with the internet in front of you.
That's true. I mean, my dad, when he was
You can do
doing
it to
his
fact check.
GCSEs, had to write a paper on Bonhoeffer, and he never heard of the bloke.
Who?
Got an A, though. So
imagine writing coursework without computers nowadays, though.
Yeah.
Be difficult.
Yeah. Hard. You have to go to the library.
Yeah, you have to
Pick
see.
up a
People have to
book.
sit up in the library and pick up a book and read it and write.
And they make you be quiet downstairs as well, so you can't even
See-
flick through the pages.
See, that's actually a decent point bringing up, because I actually think if you did have computers, let them have, as long as it's not like a thing where you need the right answers. If it's something where you're explaining your own point of view, the internet would be all right, because
If it's-
you just use it to fact check yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
And as I said, if you weren't prepared before the exam, the internet's not going to help you.
Yeah, but it's also a place where you can pull off other people's opinions as your own. You know, if someone says something and it's like, oh, like I think this, or I agree like this, or I think this, and you're gonna mix up the words. You can paraphrase it to try and make it seem like you're the one doing the talking when it's not really. You just pulled it off the internet.
But then
Yeah,
again,
I
it's
still
not
don't
what-
think that's going to help, though. I think they're going to know that that's not yours. And they also
How?
Turnitin
Yeah.
is pretty good at
Yeah,
like,
turn it,
recognising
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
if you paraphrase it, if you're using like one or two words, like you could say I argue this, and this. You know. You
True, but it'll be quicker to write your own thoughts than to look on the internet on a timer that's going down, mind you, and stealing somebody else's thoughts.
And of course, there's the internet history as well. If you're browsing
Yeah,
the internet, it's
exactly.
going to put, oh, you went to writemyessay.com, you know.
Yeah.
Don't look at my browser history.
You paid somebody to write your essay.
Ooh, you paid a guy on
In
Fiverr.
the exam.
Write an essay in 60 minutes for me. Go. I'll pay you a $5. Right.
$5 for that.
Damn, well, that's cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I'd be like, can you just go take my tests for me?
I think we'll probably end it on that.
Bombshell.
On that bombshell. On that quite calm bombshell.
Yeah,
You know,
nothing too bad.
Nothing. No one got insulted today, apart from potentially half of the university. But
And me.
I feel insulted.
I feel insulted just by being here. Turning in my resignation. Goodbye, Fritz.
what? Oh, no, I am the boss. Oh, well, Nezar just left. Sick. Okay, thank you so much for listening. We hope you had a good time. The show will be up on YouTube at some time in the future. Thank you to James for coming
Thank
by.
you very much for having
Thank
me
you
on.
for having me, and thank you for Nezar, even though he's not here anymore. But he's back.
Oh, hi, everyone.
But I've turned off his mic.
Oh,
But now he can talk again. Do it.
yeah.
Say it. Go on. Do it.
You gotta just lower
No, do it. You don't have to put your. Just say goodbye.
Goodbye.
There we go. And from myself, goodbye, and we'll hopefully see you next
we
week if
sing
we
them off?
haven't been cast. Cut.
Can we sing them off?
We haven't got the whole crew.
There's no.
Oh, yeah, because we were in the canteen and we were thinking of doing the.
He's still speaking. Anyways.
I didn't even know we were live still.
Oh, and goodbye.
I was-